Hi guys, welcome to episode 3 of Camp Talk, a podcast brought to you by WorkPlay USA. Today we thought we'd just do a bit of a shorter one, but just a few just kind of spitball questions, frequently asked questions that all three of us get about our experience working at summer camp in the USA.
Okay, so one of the first questions that someone has asked us is food and accommodation provided at camp?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Food and accommodation is provided whilst you are at camp, whether you're at a day camp or a sleepaway camp, both will be provided for you. In terms of the accommodation, more than likely you'll be sleeping in a bunk with the kids, which is so much fun. It's kind of like a constant sleepover. You get to know the kids really, really well, but you also get to know the staff well, which is super important for any sort of work abroad program. Getting to know people that are the same age as you, that have the same interests. That's what makes summer camp so much fun. And in terms of food, the food is pretty good at camp, to be fair. I feel like we might have spoken about this a little bit in our lives, but the food, there's always going to be sort of a main option, whether it is something like pizza or chicken or some sort of main meal, and then along with that there's normally a pasta bar and a salad bar and a deli bar. This is really good for if you're looking to eat a little bit healthier or have a few different options. They also cater really well to anyone that has any sort of dietary requirements. Definitely chat to your camp about that. They'll be able to sort you out, which is fantastic. But aside from this, we definitely have themed meals as well. We have barbecues, we have Greek night, we have Chick-fil-A night. We have so many different options at camp, which is really nice and adds some variety to your summer, so you're not just sort of eating fries and nuggets the entire summer.
No, I definitely agree with that. So I'm like vegetarian, and at camp I found it, like at the start I thought I would find it difficult eating the food at camp, but they accommodated really well. They had like salad, a lot of healthy options. So yeah, I definitely agree that that's something you don't need to worry about. They do accommodate for everyone at camp.
Okay, another question that we get asked quite frequently is how do staff typically spend like a night or a day off at camp? And there's loads of ways you can spend the nights off. Like when I first went to camp, I thought because it would be in quite a rural area that there actually wasn't a lot to do. But at my camp, we can rent like a van or a car out, and we usually on like a night off after evening activity go to get ice cream or go to like a local lake nearby, go for a swim. Go to Walmart usually, just like look around Walmart for hours, or Target. Another thing that me and my friend group love to do at camp, normally when we'd have like an early night off, like our E&O before a day off, is we love to go to the cinema and watch whatever was on the cinema, which was really fun. Don't recommend watching a horror film before you have to go back and sleep in a cabin. That was kind of scary, but it was really fun. And then when it comes to days off, my camp was in Maine, so we went to like the national parks, Acadia National Park. I go there every year. Loads of beaches, nice little cute beach towns. And yeah, there's actually a lot more to do than you think. And also sometimes my camp would throw like staff events for the staff, so like movie night or pottery night, and like do the different activities and things. So yeah, that's how I'd spend my days off. But what about you, Lydia? How do you spend your days off at camp?
So yeah, at my camp, they're pretty understanding that we're international staff and we still want to have fun on our days off, but we probably don't have a whole lot of access to cars unless you have friends that are American staff. So they organise us a day off option, one or two options every single week. Yeah, so it could be going to American Dream Mall, it could be going to a local river near us where you can drink and do some water sports or whatever might be happening. Or you can organise your own day off, which is nice. I did a trip to Hershey Park, which is close to where my camp is. Yeah, it was so much fun. It was a nice way to spend the day off. And yeah, last year about 5 or 6 of us went to New York for the day, which was really nice because my camp's in Pennsylvania. So there's definitely options. If your camp isn't necessarily in a central area, you can definitely go into these areas and spend your day off there. Or if you want to, you can just rest on camp. Like I definitely, at least once a week, of my summer, I'll spend a day on camp and maybe do a few activities that I've not done yet, or I'll just sleep, or I'll call home or something like that, so that I have a bit more of downtime to sort of recover for the rest of the summer. But definitely some really good options for days off. Also evenings off, you can go to the local bar, you can go get food, you can go to Walmart. I feel like your summer doesn't begin until you go to either Target or Walmart, to be honest. That is the start of the summer. That's always the first thing I do when I get off the plane is I look for somewhere to go shopping. Yeah, that's kind of how days off work for me. Courtney, tell us how it works for you.
Yeah, so my camp was in New York, so a lot of my time off I kind of spent in the city. Also went to Coney Island a lot. That's something I really enjoyed, loved going there. And yeah, I kind of agree, like some days off I just kind of relax, sunbathed, phone home, catch up with my friends at home. I think it's definitely good just to kind of get a bit of space sometimes, and even like read or just a bit of time to yourself is nice. But yeah, my days off I took advantage of going to the city, went and seen like musicals on Broadway, done loads of different things. I went to the American Dream Hall too. I loved that. I think I went there like 3 times. Spent way too much money. But yeah, so there's so many different things you can do on your days off. And as you said, like I suppose for me, I was in close to the city, but even if you're not, like there's so many different options and things that you can do. So yeah.
Amazing. I know a bunch of people from my camp went to Niagara Falls one summer on the day off.
Amazing. Yeah, I
Such a
see
cool day
lots
off
of
to do.
people doing that. Like there's so many things, like even in one of my days off I went to Boston. I think it was only like 2 hours on the bus.
Amazing.
So I done that, and I also went to Philadelphia. So yeah, there's so many options to do things if you want. So
okay, I've been asked this question quite a few times now. We probably will do sort of a bigger episode on this, so we can really delve into it. But I think it would be good to ask sort of, how do you guys deal with homesickness at camp? What do you do to sort of help yourself?
Yeah, well, I especially struggled with homesickness my first year because I was only 18. It was my first time ever away from home for that period amount of time, and also like out of the country by myself. So I'd say to find any possible opportunity to phone home as you can. I think when you first start, it is hard to find places, and I remember thinking that I was never going to be able to contact home because I felt like I was so busy. But once you you've settled in and you're used to the schedule and things, there is times where you can call home. Something I also felt really helped was one was writing letters home and writing postcards, because that was always quite a nice way to like connect on a different level. When you're a bit busy, you can't always text and tell everyone what you're doing every time of the day, but if you're like writing it down, and then I'd send it in all like one big postcard at the end of the week, and getting your friends and family as well to like write back as well, even though only maybe like one letter arrived in time, but it was still nice to know that my letters were getting home and things. And also the second thing I did was, my second summer, was bring pictures from home and like decorate my like little corner of the room, things from home, because I didn't do that my first summer. I saw everyone else doing that, and I also bought like my Welsh flag and like just things that like made me think of home, and also just like keeping yourself as busy as you can as well, because I feel like everyone, like you're not the only one struggling with it. Like all my friends also struggled with homesickness, so when we did, we'd obviously like spend as much time together as we could and kind of try and distract each other. But yeah, those are just some of my tips.
Yeah, I think those are some really good points. Like definitely decorating your area is key. I think making it feel like a bit of home really helps. Bring in things to photos to put up, or even like things like fairy lights, I think is such a cute way.
Yeah, I did that also.
Did you? Yeah. So yeah, I definitely recommend things like that. Also, I feel like my homesickness normally happens in the first like week or two of camp when it's orientation. Like my orientation lasts 10 days, and it's great and it's really nice to get to know people, but you have a lot of downtime as well that you don't have when the kids get there. So I think it's really natural to feel homesick during that time. I know a lot of people will sort of feel it, and you can definitely connect with people and sort of help each other get through it. But definitely my advice when going into camp is to maybe prepare for it. Know that it might come, and if it does, it's okay. Give it a week. Like you will feel so much different within a week. I always do. Like the first week I'm always like, oh, I don't know. Even as a returner, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this summer. And then afterwards I'm like, what was I upset about? Like it's absolutely fine. But I think it's so normal to sort of feel these nerves, feel homesick, feel a bit uneasy in the first week or so. But when the kids get there, like camp changes. For me, I think camp, it's great to get to know people in orientation, don't get me wrong. You get to do so many fun things and do loads of activities and go out with your friends and stuff like that. But when the kids get there, you don't have enough time to think about things about homesickness as much, or nerves or anything. So I think camp is such a great place when the kids get there, and everyone's so happy and wanting to go and have this great summer. So definitely, if you are feeling homesick within that first week in that orientation time, just hold off for a little bit and it will go, it will ease, and you'll feel so much better and you'll feel proud of yourself for getting through the summer, definitely.
Okay, so we had quite a few people asking about friendships at camp, like do you make many friends and do your friendships last, stuff like that. So for me, I would say, yeah, I made lots of friends at camp. I'm actually meeting up with them in like 2 weeks time. We're all meeting in Dublin and there's some of them flying over here, and we're all having like a big catch up. So yeah, I've made like really good friends from camp, stayed really close with them, and did a lot of traveling with them and stuff. So you definitely do make friends when at camp.
Yeah, I think this is something I was really worried about before my first summer, because I went on completely on my own. I didn't know anyone and hadn't even really spoken to anyone from camp either. I kind of just was really busy doing my A-levels and then just got on the plane, which I think if I could go back and give myself some advice, I'd say it's definitely like take into the fact that you can find people from your camp. Like obviously social media is so great these days, and like you can find people from camp and connect with them before you go, which I wish I did. But on my first night at camp, I found it really, really challenging because I felt like everyone knew each other and I felt like everyone was returners. But you just got to like really put yourself out there and talk to people and push yourself out of your comfort zone. And one of the first people I made friends with was my friend Izzy, who I actually ended up living with last year in uni because we go to the same university.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so we're like still really good friends to this day. She's still one of my best friends. So I spoke to her on a whim and I kind of just attached myself to her, and then the rest kind of formed all my friends. But I would say don't be too worried that if, you know, during staff orientation you feel like you haven't found your people, because they will come. I feel like friendship groups and friendships changed a lot during camp, during the whole time, but there is like someone for everyone. I feel like you just have to put in the effort and you get what you give back. Is that the right phrase? I don't know, but
yeah, something along those lines.
Anyway, it is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to find friends. You've just got to speak to people and be open-minded to all different types of people. But yeah, that's what I'd say. What would you say, Lydia, about friendships?
I chatted about this a little bit in a blog post I did recently on the website, if anybody wants to have a look at that. But I do think definitely going into camp as an introvert, I was really, really worried about making friends. I wasn't sure if I'd connect with people. Like I just wasn't sure if it was going to be for me. And I think definitely within those first couple of days you really get to know people quite well, but it's not to say they'll be your friends for the entire summer, but you get to know faces, you get to know people. My camp, they put us in like a bunk with a few different people to start off with, and then they changed our bunk so that we got to know people throughout the entire day, not just sort of at a particular activity that we're doing for orientation. And then you get your bunk group sort of the last couple of days of orientation, and I absolutely loved every single person in my bunk. We had, I think, 6 counselors, which is a lot, I feel, but they were all amazing, and we really got to know each other really well when we were unpacking. Like that's such a good way to get to know people, because you're just playing music, you're unpacking the kids' stuff, like you're chatting away about yourself and they're telling you about them. So friendships do naturally form quite easily at camp based on the things we have to do to start off with. And then throughout camp, you're going to get to know people throughout the entire summer. Like it doesn't matter if you didn't get to know everyone on the first day. Throughout the summer, you're going to get to know people through days off, through your friends having friends, through going to different activities and seeing someone you've never met before and just chatting to them. And I think that's what I really love, because I mean, I definitely felt homesick a good bit in my first summer, and so I didn't get to know people as well as I might have done in previous summers. So as the weeks got on, I was still able to get to know people. I was still making friends as it goes, which I really like. And I think it's a good thing to know if anyone's the same and finds it a bit hard in sort of these big group settings to just really be the most outgoing person out there. And in terms of friendships, like after camp, like I've stayed friends with my friends I made sort of each summer at camp, which is lovely. And we meet up a lot and we try and sort of see each other where we can, or we'll FaceTime and chat about any camp news we found out or anything that's going on in our lives. So you definitely do have these friends for life, I think. I definitely made some of my closest friends at camp, which is lovely. So yeah, that is probably one of the best parts of camp, the people that you meet, the connections you get to make. Okay, another great question that we get asked is like some advice on packing or something you would recommend bringing that maybe you might not have thought of. I think this is a really good question, because packing can be hard to know what to pack for the amount of time that you're at camp. So what do you guys suggest? What would be your packing tips?
I would say I've like 50-50 on this question. I feel like you need to bring stuff that will kind of get dirty, stuff you kind of don't care about on one hand, but then also bring stuff that will make you feel good on like your days and time off. Because I think the first summer I went to Primark and just got loads of like random shorts and random tops and like things that actually I didn't feel that good in. When most of the time you'll be wearing a staff top anyway. Well, at my camp anyway, we wear a staff shirt when we're teaching our activities. So I'd say like bring lots of shorts, and for the days like when you're actually teaching our activities, bring like shorts and things that you don't really mind getting dirty, and but you still feel good in. But then also like I don't think I brought enough tops and jeans and things and stuff I actually felt good in for like the nights off, because there's a lot more nights off than you'd think, if that makes sense. Oh,
her phone's died. And welcome back, Courtney.
Courtney's had some technical difficulties there. As I was saying, I think nice clothes is like one of the things I'd say. Things that like, I think on one hand, my first summer I was scared to bring clothes I didn't like that I actually really liked, because I didn't want them to get ruined. But I think it's worth it to take that risk, because there's a few things in your wardrobe you feel good in, you're gonna need that on your days off, because most of the time in camp you're sweating and you're sunburned and you're tired. So on your days off and nights off, it is really important to like feel nice and feel good about yourself. So that's one of my biggest packing tips, is to, on the one hand, bring things you don't care about, but equally bring things you feel nice in.
I agree. I think you definitely should bring things that you're like happy to sweat away in all day when you're running around. And like last summer I actually brought like a bunch of just shorts off Vinted and like things that I was happy leaving at camp at the end of the summer. But also my first summer I did not bring enough nice clothes either, and I don't recommend bringing so much, but like bring in some things when you go to the bar you're going to feel nice in. When you have your day off you're going to feel good in. It's definitely like a really nice sort of thing to just shed your camp counselor clothes for the day and feel good. In terms of packing in general, like I recommend, like we mentioned, bringing bits from home. Also bringing a camera as well. A lot of camps won't let you take your phone around with you, so bringing a digital camera or a Polaroid camera is definitely a really good thing to bring. What else? What do I really recommend? Just overall, I would recommend not bringing 2 suitcases like me and a camera, because you don't need it. You definitely don't. It's a fine line between having enough for 2 months. And I mean, you have camp laundry every single week, so you only really need like 8 to 10 potential sporty outfits, and then a few days off or traveling outfits, and you can order things there as well if you don't bring enough. I was just the one and only that turned up at my camp with 2 gigantic suitcases, a cabin bag and a backpack, and I came home with 1 empty case because I didn't need all that stuff. So learn from my mistakes.
I was gonna say as well, like when you're there you're gonna want extra room in your suitcase as well to bring back stuff. Like there was so many like
definitely
shops and things that there was like t-shirts and like memorabilia and stuff, but also like nice clothes that you're going to want to buy there that you can't buy in the UK, and you're going to want to have room left in your suitcase. So I agree, overpacking it's a struggle, but
And there's so many like good designer outlets as well there, and like everything's so much cheaper, I feel.
Yeah, everything was so cheap. And when we went to Staten Island in New York, and my friend got a guest bag for like $25. I was like, that is crazy. And I just had to stop myself at that stage because I was like, no, I don't even have the room. So I regretted that. Like I overpacked on the way there. I had like a heavy overweight sticker on my case. I regretted it because then I couldn't buy like stuff that I wanted. So like I even brought heels. Like that's how ridiculous I was. Like I was rocking up with these heels and everyone was looking at me like, what? I was like,
I love that.
Because I thought I wasn't going to New York. Like no one was wearing heels. I just looked like an idiot. So don't recommend that.
That's so funny. You definitely don't need heels at camp. Like
no.
Good pair of trainers, a nice pair of day off shoes is what you need.
Or also, nice sandals or something.
Yeah. And wellies as well, or rain boots. I brought a pair out with me this year, like little ankle ones, and they were such a lifesaver. And a good raincoat as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was like, it's going to be
so many people don't bring a raincoat.
Yeah, I was one of those people, and I did need one. When it rains, it rains.
In my first summer, it literally rained like every day of staff orientation, and I was so glad that my mum had packed me like a waterproof right at the bottom of my bag that I'd forgotten about, and I was like, oh my god, I actually have one. But definitely wellies, like that's something you would never think of, but Yeah, but it's not something you can buy out there. Like there's some of these things.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah, you can. I always buy my toiletries when I get there. I bring enough to last me a few days and buy the rest. And also, it's always a bit cold when I go to camp in Pennsylvania. It's normally cold that first like 10 days. So like hoodies and jogging bottoms and stuff you're gonna want when you're doing like campfires and stuff, or even on days when the weather's not great. Like you will be so thankful that you brought it.
So one of the other questions that people have asked us is like, where is some places that you've traveled to, like your favorite places you've experienced when you're at camp or after camp? So for me, I did, like as I said earlier, a bit of traveling maybe when I was at camp on days off, because my camp was situated in New York. Like it was quite accessible to a lot of places. So I went and visited Boston, Philadelphia, like Coney Island. That was one of my favorite places. Like it's sounds like basic, I suppose, but I loved Coney Island. I went there a few times, really enjoyed that. And yeah, I'd say Washington was maybe my favorite. I think it didn't really feel like, this maybe sounds strange, but it didn't really feel like you were in America. There was just something about it that felt really different to like New York and Boston, and it just wasn't as busy and there wasn't as much as like hustle about it. And I really enjoyed Washington. It was definitely one of my favorites. I recommend going and seeing that if you can when you're at camp. So what about you guys? What was your favorite?
I feel like I've done a few things after camp. My first summer, just a bunch of us counselors did a week in New York, and then to be honest, after my first summer that was enough for me. I was happy to just sort of call it quits and go home. The second summer, so I met my boyfriend at camp my first summer, and the second summer we went together and then we traveled around. We did Buffalo, Niagara Falls, we did sort of New York, we did Florida, LA, San Francisco, Las Vegas. Like we just went around. We did about 3.5 weeks, nearly 4 weeks, because it's actually really hard to fill that 30 days. It's hard, but it was unbelievable. Every state is completely different, which is amazing, and they all had sort of different vibes. And even the weather, like we went from Florida, which was absolutely scorching, to San Francisco that we were wearing jumpers and hats, and like it was just it was so strange. And then LA was really hot again, and Vegas. So that was really fun, and it was nice to see a good bunch of places. And also when we went to different places, we were just naturally bumping in with friends from camp because they were also traveling to the same place. So like we were in Universal, and we just bumped into a group of our friends from camp, which was so nice. And also the following summer we didn't travel. I stayed at my camp and did a week extra. We have a camp come in and we host a camp for a week, so I did that. So there's definitely a few different options. If it's your first summer, I recommend sort of holding off with your travel decisions until you get to camp, until you meet people and figure out what exactly you do want to do with the end of your summer. But definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, like Courtney said, when I was actually in camp, every year I've been to camp, we've done a day trip to Boston, which is like, Boston's like one of my favorite places ever now, because I feel like I just know it like the back of my hand, because it's where I fly into. It's the nearest big city to my camp. So yeah, we've done a few day trips to Boston. Also, when I finished camp my first year, we did a few nights in Boston, and then same as Lydia, after my first summer I'd had enough and I went home. I didn't travel the rest of America. But my second summer I went to Canada for 3 weeks. Which was the best time ever. My favorite place I've ever visited is Toronto. We did Toronto and Montreal for 3 weeks, which was like insane. So yeah, which I didn't really think was a possibility. I forget, because obviously I'm on the East Coast. It's actually quite close, only like a hour and a half, 2-hour flight to Toronto. So yeah, definitely lots of options. Other, not just America, that you can travel after camp as well.
Yeah, that's okay. That's not even something I really thought of. Like that's really cool. Something to definitely consider.
Well, thank you everybody for listening to the third episode of the Camp Talk podcast. We absolutely love chatting about camp and answering all your questions. You're more than welcome to send us any questions again on Instagram, or comment down below, or send us them on TikTok, and we'd love to keep doing this and keep chatting about camp. But yeah, thank you so much for watching.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.